So a new League champ has been released by Riot Games for League of Legends, so I'm gonna dive right in. K'Sante, the Pride of Nazumah. This is the champion theme, and I'm going to guess who K'Sante is. I'm not looking at the character trailer, I'm just gonna listen to the music, and here we go. So this character, K'Sante, is like full of pride and full of power and strength, and I feel like this character has suffered a great deal and has risen up and is a bold warrior and has risen up and decided to stand for what they believe in and decided to overcome adversity and protect their people. There's especially in this brass, there's a lot of power, and there's a ba 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 ba, and it's just incredibly inspiring. And it just feels like this is a ferocious warrior that also has a big heart and is proud in who they are, where they come from, what they believe in, and has a security in knowing and fighting for what's right. In a way, right here in this quiet section that's being sung by Virgel, there is this feeling of quiet contemplation and of reflection, which we typically hear in middle sections where there is reflection. We tend to have this feeling of quiet contemplation on oneself. Usually these are internal, usually these are introspective moments. And it's like, man, I have suffered so much, and the things that have occurred in my life, I need to stand up for what I believe in, and I have to rise up. I gotta pick myself up, and I have to get out there and do what needs to be done. I have to do this because no one else will. That's the sort of feeling I feel, especially with this introspective sottovoce. This is very like right here, quiet. just a force to be reckoned with, super aware of who they are and super confident and knowing that the only way forward is to move forward. You know, I have to push forward into where I want to go and who I want to be and what I need to do. And this music is so inspired, so inspired. Let's watch some of these trailers and find out who exactly Casante is.
This is the tale of a young hunter and his greatest battle. Together, the hunter and his love, the archer, defended their homes from the monsters that threatened it. With his entofos in hand and his love by his side, the hunter felt invincible. But there were times, many times, when the archer urged the hunter to temper his skill with strategy. Unfortunately, the young hunter couldn't see that there is no monster greater than pride. And so, the archer moved on to other adventures, but he left behind one final gift. The hunter could finally see his monster. Arrogance. The archer had been right. His pride had torn them apart, but they finished the hunt together. And that is how the young hunter defeated his greatest monster.
The internal struggle of fighting against your pride and powering through your pride and pushing past the things and the ego and the things that keep us tied down and the things that keep us locked in on ourselves.
Another dawn brings a new day to continue the hunt. My ancestors built Nazumah, away from the Ascended and other would-be rulers. But monsters come in all shapes and sizes. I, Casante, stand between them and my people. To the end.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Casante grew up immersed in the homeland's history. At dinner, his father told tales of their ancestors who used bravery and strength to resist the tyranny of the Ascended. His mother recounted the fearsome beasts these Nazuman founders slayed from formidable marks were used to craft advanced weaponry and infrastructure that enabled their homeland to thrive for 5 centuries. On his early hunts, Casante forged many friendships, but his closest was with a young man from Moromark named Tope. Where Casante was a blazing force in close combat, Tope specialized in range assault. Their chemistry was unmatched as they bested rock bear herds, shakal raiding parties, and even Gjer Shai stampedes, and as their teamwork grew stronger, so did their bond. One starlit evening, Casante confessed to Tope, admitting his feelings were beyond camaraderie. When he learned that Tope felt the same way, the two lovingly embraced and shared their first kiss. Together in that moment under the stars, all seemed right. But all was not. 2 Ascended, Emperor Azir and Magus Zerath, ravaged the continent in a war for dominance over Shurima, both deploying monstrous abominations among their forces. Nazuman scouts soon sighted one such creature, a colossal predator shaped like a lion and a cobra that had wandered astray and was now terrorizing the nearby savannah. When the city-state's leaders asked who could quell the beast, Casante and Tope pledged their might. On their first attempt, the beast deflected their every attack with powers neither man had seen before. They discovered that its armor, stretching from head to tail, regenerated from non-lethal blows. The men failed to draw blood and were forced to flee from the Cobra Lion's lair with empty hands, leaving it to run wild. And so they tried again and again. Casante's frustration burned. To become Nazumah's greatest, he had to slay this beast. Nothing else mattered. He trained dawn to dusk, convinced Tope would understand. Tope, meanwhile, studied the beast. He presented Casante with strategies, watching his partner nod along in between assaults on their countless practice dummies. Quietly, Tope questioned if the two of them were strong enough. Their biggest success was an encounter where they managed to claim a piece of the Cobra Lion's armor. Tope hailed this as progress and thought that if they sought more help, they could make even more headway. But Casante seethed. He'd begun to see the Cobra Lion as his undertaking alone, and anything short of slaying the beast was a failure. The heroes he idolized when growing up never failed in battle, so Casante could neither, especially not by accepting more support in what had become his battle to prove himself. He'd tried Tope's ideas, which weren't working, and now Tope believed they weren't strong enough. Casante wouldn't accept it. He began to wonder if Tope was holding him back and soon dismissed Tope's strategies as futile. Hurt, Tope insisted that tactless training was no better. Casante's once admirable determination had turned into a self-serving, single-minded drive. As their plan and anger flared, further encounters with the Cobra Lion resulted in further infighting, and the words they exchanged became fewer and fewer until there were none at all. Finally, it seemed the only thing they could agree on was to go their separate ways. Over the next year, Casante kept training, stubborn and alone. His progress was measurable, but progress wasn't victory. He eventually had the crushing realization that strength alone could not fell the creature. He needed help. Casante gathered the courage to visit Tope's home, only to learn his former partner had returned to Merrillmark. He was instead greeted by Tope's aunt. On Casante's way out, she handed him Tope's journal, explaining that her nephew had left it to assist Casante in his fight against his greatest monster. Casante pored over Tope's journal. Gradually, he noticed the patterns and their mistakes, and when he arrived at the Cobra Lion notes, Casante was stunned. Tope claimed that the beast was a Bakai, a failed descended being. He theorized that Zerath, known for his vile misuse of magic, had forced Shuriman fauna to fuse with the Ascension ritual. Engrossed, Casante read the journal from front to back, discovering Tope's theories about how to slay the Bakai. So many ideas Casante had never considered himself, and by that evening, he'd formulated a plan to practice Tope's methods on lesser monsters. As his skills grew, Casante recalled his parents' teachings, realizing pride had led him astray. He'd never respected Tope's ideas enough to try them in earnest. Truthfully, Casante had respected his foe more than his partner. In time, he accepted his shortcomings and steadily moved on. Thankful for what they had shared, but also grateful to walk his own path with a newfound perspective. Beneath a scarlet sky, Casante approached the Cobra Lion once more. He calculated every maneuver, dodging when the beast struck and striking when the beast slipped. Sunrise became sundown, his weapons were shattered, and his body bloodied, but his spirit was unyielding. When the creature tired at long last, Casante found his opportunity, inspired by Tope's theories, and cornered his foe against a Nazuman waterfall where the natural waters weakened the Cobra Lion's armor, allowing Casante to finally land a fatal blow. Exhausted, Casante stood tall, proud not of what he had accomplished, but of the journey he had taken. Casante was celebrated by Nazumah upon his return. Following tradition, he donated the creature's body to the scholars for study, keeping only a couple slabs of its armor to refine the design of his signature Ntofo weapons. They were now engineered to retain the armor's regenerative properties, so that when their heavy outer layer shattered, Casante could still wield them as sharp blades until they reformed. For a finishing detail, he carved onto each Ntofo something Tope had drawn within his journal, a symbol representing the Cobra Lion. Though their time together had ended, Casante knew his success was not achieved alone. Today, Casante is hailed as the pride of Nazumah, but if he is ever to become its greatest leader, he's learned he must never again let ego cloud his judgment. His home's future, with the ascending threat looming, is uncertain, but Casante knows that should Azir or Zerath dare march southward, he stands ready to fight. And again, you hear that in the music, this powerful beat, this powerful emphasis on ascension, of rising up through adversity, whether it's through yourself or the adversity of others, to claim your life as your own. And K'Sante is a prime example of that, of pushing through boundaries and barriers and your own ego and pride and achieving something that not everybody can achieve. Glad I caught this release right as it happened. It's certainly a new and exciting thing for me, being that most of the League themes that I do listen to tend to be older or not as recent. So this is really fun. If you like this sort of stuff, there's a lot more League content on this channel. Feel free to check out this video of Kindred if you like this sort of stuff. Feel free to like, subscribe, and hey, if you want to support the channel, there's links in the About section, but there's no pressure. As always, thanks a ton, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.